are you personally holding off on playing any Switch games until the Switch 2 fixes the performance issues? For me, the two Grezzo Zelda games are unplayable until Switch rolls around. Well, I guess we can give you a pass on this question, Alex, because you just don't have any particular interest in the Nintendo Switch whatsoever. No. Famously so, you don't own one. Do you like to tell us about that?
No, I don't. No, there's nothing there.
But Oliver, you have actually a pretty huge personal Switch library. I guess you're pretty well equipped to answer this one.
Yes, slightly shamefully something north of 400 titles at the moment, which is probably too many. Although a lot of those are sales and some of that's shovelware and cheap things. But anyways, there's plenty of that on the Switch, unfortunately, which perhaps gets to some of this question potentially. The Grezzo Switch games are fantastic. They seem very, very good. But I personally have refused to play them, even since 2019 with that original Link's Awakening remake rather. I decided...
Really?
Yeah, I decided not to play it because the 30 FPS to 60 FPS lurch there, it gets so distracting and so much content. It's not just...
It's really not good, you're right.
Yeah, the fact that it's dropping a couple frames here and there, if it was dropping to like 55 FPS, would that be the end of the world? It wouldn't be amazing, but it wouldn't be the worst. But dropping to 30, it just too much. Either stick at 30 or stick at 60, really, with a 60 hertz panel there. I'd also like to play the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity game. That game just has generally poor performance and low resolutions. That would be good. If I felt like playing Pokemon, those Pokemon Violet games that I excoriated back in the day.
Yes.
I would want to play those on Switch 2. They run poorly. They ran poorly on Switch 1. They still run poorly. I played them just the other day just to test them out, and they still run poorly, unfortunately. I'd be curious to see if it does anything really substantial for Arkham Knight or those Arkham games in general, because that was certainly a very compromised effort. You had all kinds of issues. You had just like gigantic stutters up to like 2-second stutters on a pretty consistent basis there. I'd be curious to see if it fixes that problem to any degree. But I'd also really be curious just in general about games with unlocked frame rates like the Resident Evil games on Switch. In particular, like RE5 and Revelations. Those run unlocked. Could they run at a consistent 60 on Switch 2? That's something I'd personally want to revisit because I do own some of those games. And I'm not that interested in playing them on Switch 1 really because that unlocked frame rate issue.
Okay, wow. That's a lot.
Quite a few then. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think this question does kind of presuppose that you will actually get performance boosts on Switch 2, because we don't know. I suspect it's probably going to, as I said in the past, be more of an effort to make Switch 2 work exactly like Switch 1 than simply by, just tapping into the APIs and just running the games at standard clocks. It kind of makes a bit more sense to do that. I can't really name any specific titles, but, what can I say? There's going to be a lot of potential for, enhanced console-style patches just to remove frame rate caps, for example. So I'm very curious about how the whole ecosystem is going to handle the concept of two consoles in the same family, effectively, and whether they do actually allow for faster performance, because there's a lot of untapped potential there in so many games that are running at 30 frames per second. I mean, would just be great just to see Doom running at 60, for example, where it should have been, but obviously with platform limited there. So yeah, what can I say? I'm kind of hoping it does happen.